So some of you may recognize this world from the interesting uses from scaffolding video and the lectern video, probably two of one of my favorite videos of this channel, but we are continuing the interesting uses series with honey block piston doors. Oh my god, look how big piston doors are. So yeah, basically, this isn't news. You probably all know this by now. Slime and honey don't stick. You can move them independently just like that, so really useful for ginormous piston doors like this. And this is kind of like an evolution on how I went from a 4x4 to a 12x28 over there. So basically I started off by thinking, maybe I could section off doors into different pushable parts. So that's what I did for this 4x4 and this 5x5. So in this 4x4 we just have 2x2 sections in each corner like this, being pushed by slime and honey segments with double piston extenders. This is just a really easy circuit made in about like 30 seconds. So push the button, they just close in sync, and open it again, and it opens in sync. Really easy double piston extender design too. We just have two pistons and then pistons to the side with an observer. Yeah, this is all you need for the double piston extender. Just have a ladder, and then you have a torch tower over here to activate them both at the same time. I don't think I need to explain this that much. So then I decided let's step it up, and I did a 5x5. So I did the exact same thing. I sectioned it off into little pushable bits, I guess. But these ones are kind of different. So this double piston extender over here, as you can see, this one has to push 12 blocks, so it can't activate from this piston directly in the back. It has to activate this first, then the double piston extender, and then over here we just have normal, double, and a triple. So we flick this lever, and everything happens, and it looks cool. And this one's layout size too. It's 2 blocks wide. This could be a fold-out triple, but I kind of got lazy, so I'm like, whatever. I'll just make it a normal one. So yeah, that is my 5x5. And this triple sucks, to be honest. It's so derpy and like terrible in every way. So let's see. We have some different types of extenders over here. So here we just have a normal vertical double piston extender. Don't need to explain that. Over here we have a slime extender, so that goes like that. And then here we have a modified double piston extender. So basically this pulses first, so that pushes that. And then we have something like this, and then the retraction is just the same thing. You just pulse this in the front and then retract it back again, and this is just a normal triple piston extender. But then I decided, well, I mean, people are using flying machines, but personally I do not like using flying machines for these kind of doors because they made them really excessively slow. So I combined this idea. Well, I kind of went back to this idea of using extenders on the side, and I created this giant piston door. It is 6 blocks wide and 16 blocks tall, and it still doesn't use any weird slime flying machine mechanics. It just uses triple piston extenders that are stacked on top of each other, and this is the biggest it can be because it has to go up this redstone ladder thing. So let's flick the lever. And this is also the benefit of using not flying machines, because that closed really quickly. Probably like the fastest they'll ever close. It might be as fast as like a 0-tick 3-wide hipster without slime. Well, I'm not sure. I'm not going to say anything about that. Also, the opening is really quick. And as you can see, it also pushes these blocks over here. So these blocks can be solid. And the only like blocks that you have to like pay attention to are the honey and slime on the sides and the terracotta on the ceiling, and yeah, the ceiling and the floor. So that is the giant 6-wide thing. Oh no, but we're not done yet. I doubled the scale of that. So now we have 12 wide and 24 high. So let's just flick this lever. And as you can see, also really quite quick. Like, that thing closes pretty fast. Like, I don't think you'll ever get a door that big closing any faster than that, unless you make a 0-tick version of this. I don't know. And then opening. There we go. Opens in sync. Also really fast and really cool. Also, this thing is infinitely expandable upwards. Not lengthwise, though. It can only be 12 blocks wide. because we're not using flying machines, we're using these kinds of extenders. And technically, if you had infinite push limit, you could just make an infinite sliding wall with this, but we don't. We can only go up to 12. So basically how this works, it's pretty interesting. It's similar to something I've done in the past with a 50 piston extender. Never actually made a full video on it. I just kind of like showed it around. But basically how it works, if we just have a setup like this is basically the same thing but just on the sides. So here is our setup, and basically we just activate the front one and then the next one over here. So we update this observer, which will activate this piston. So that will kind of caterpillar, so it'll push this segment, this observer will update and push that again. Oh, I did that wrong. Okay, so do that and then push this, and then it kind of snakes along all the way to the front. And it is the exact same thing for the retraction, it's just front to back again. So we just retract this. This retracts, updating this observer, which will update the piston in front of it. And then you just keep doing that all the way until you get to the last piston. And a really easy way to do that is just having a line of redstone and 4 ticks. That's all the redstone there is to this thing. And then to activate them all at the same time, because these do all have to be activated so they're in sync, and then like this slime doesn't collide with that piston and just break everything. So basically what we have is I used, why did I say we all the time? Okay, it doesn't matter. I used a bubble column that sends a signal upwards through all of these observers at the same time. I know probably a lot of people know about this mechanic, but I don't really see it used that much. But like, it's really useful for sending signals vertically. And it's actually quite fast, so I just put a lever here for demonstration purposes. Like, notice the time between this piston extending and like that top piston extending. It's like probably like 1 tick of delay. Like, that is really quick. Like, that is really quick. And you can also go as high as you want, and it would still take the same time as this piston as the very top piston. But the retraction does take longer because it takes a little, it's not, the bubbles generating isn't instant. So if we retract this, it'll take a little longer, but they will all still retract at the same time, and it's still relatively quick. Like look at that. Like, this, why isn't this used more often? You can send signals vertically like super fast. Like, you don't need like you don't need redstone ladders snaking all the way up to however high you want. You could just use bubble columns. Bubble columns are the future, guys. Yeah, it might use a little bit more space, might make all your redstone wet and die, but I don't know. It's really useful. And this thing is only 5 blocks wide, which is the exact same size as the 6x16 door. But no, I decided that's not enough. We need a horizontal version of this that is also a little bit bigger. So that can be expanded vertically as high as you want. So 12 by 256. So technically, this one is bigger. This is the biggest this design can be because it relies on signal strength, and like, it's a lot harder to like transfer it horizontally infinitely than vertically with those bubble columns. But you could use like instant repeaters, but I didn't want to do that. So we have a 12 high by 28 door. This thing is humongous. And if we just flick this lever here and quickly go to the front to see what the green concrete is all about, we have plant trees. Guys, plant trees. Remember to plant trees. Donate to, I forget. What? Teamtrees.org? Is that what it's called? Okay, doesn't matter. So yeah, and now, bam, you retract it, and I should probably go on this side. Yeah, okay, well, you get the idea. Just opens top and bottom in, like, at the same time. Now, this one does look slightly different to this setup over here. This setup over here, solid wall of pistons. This one, on the other hand, I kind of did something a little bit different, because I realized you can actually like just stick a bunch of pistons on the side of one of these modules and only just have one extender on the bottom. And the extender is a bit different because I had to figure out how to activate all the pistons, but it's still basically the exact same concept. And this is just so this bit over here is just this 4-tick thing, but vertical. So let's just quickly see the redstone. So this goes, activates over here, sneaks its way down. Let's see, where's the first piston? So this is the first piston. This activates, 4 ticks later, this activates, then this one, then this one, then that one. You get the idea. It's the same as the horizontal one. And we have that on the ceiling too, just a little bit different because this one's was a little bit harder to do. Boom, boom, just snakes its way all the way down. And this one is a slightly different setup because you can't just like stick them like that. I tried, it did not work. I had to alternate sides, and that also made it a little bit bigger. But guess what? Surprisingly, this thing only ended up 5 wide except for the input on this side. So it's technically 6 wide, but this is just a giant input line that activates all of this. So I don't really count it, but yeah. Big doors are possible. And yes, I did try flying machines. This was possible. It was able to be 15 long and infinitely high. But the problem with flying machines and this version of the door, there's not really a point if you're going to make this only 3 blocks wider and infinitely taller. And this one's also infinitely taller. But this one closes and opens way faster. Way faster. So, I don't know, if you want to see a tutorial on this, it's actually pretty simple. I don't think you actually really need a tutorial, so just imagine you have a 6, actually each segment is in 2, so you go piston, slime honey, piston, slime honey, piston, slime honey, piston, slime honey. You need 6 pistons like that, and observers going into these slime blocks like this. And then I don't really know, maybe you can follow this setup. I'll make a proper tutorial later if you actually really want one. So I'll just stand over here to kind of guide on how you need to place the blocks. And you just stack that all the way up. Also, yeah, these have to be filled because there's water here, obviously. And then you just have pistons with redstone blocks, observers, glass. I just put glass because why not? And bubble column, soul sand, piston activates magic. Everything is magic. So yeah, interesting uses for honey blocks part 3. Should I make this a series every time a snapshot comes out? Because this world is slowly getting full with lots of things. Oh yeah, there's also the 0 tick thing that we did that one time. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Interesting uses for honey blocks. Really hope this gets more views than the color combination lock, because that video completely flopped. So yeah, oh crap, I don't have Optifine. I can't zoom in this snapshot. Okay, if I find anything, big projects coming soon. I don't know what to say. Okay, I haven't made a video in a long time. Okay, goodbye.